The prank call story. I prank called the police, and my mom got arrested. When I was in kindergarten, my teacher kept trying to make me take a nap when I didn't want to. So I decided to pull a prank on her. I was getting really mad, so to get her back, I waited until she wasn't looking. Then, I snuck over to her desk, stole her phone, and called the police on it. By the time she realized what I was doing, I had already told them to come get me because my teacher was being mean. She started completely freaking out and was now really mad at me. She called my mom to come pick me up, and the police showed up to the school too. 5-year-old me thought this was all hilarious, but when I got home that day, my mom grounded me for a week and wouldn't let me eat pizza. So I decided I needed to get revenge on her too. My plan worked so well the first time. So as soon as she fell asleep that night, I snuck into her room, took her phone, and called the police again. This time, I told them my mom was hurting me and wasn't giving me any food to eat. I didn't know what was going to happen, because this time, the police took it a lot more serious. They were banging on our door soon after. And when my mom found out I had called them again, I knew I had messed up. They asked me if what I said was true. So as one final blow, I told them yes. It was the middle of the night, and they made my mom go down to the police station to question her in handcuffs. But as soon as we got there, the same cop from earlier recognized me and knew what I did. He knew it was a prank.
My son made a kid cry on his birthday, and I was so proud of him. When my son was in the 3rd grade, he was a bully. We tried everything, but he kept constantly getting in trouble and sent to the office. He was known throughout the school for tying balloons to the class rabbit and almost letting it float away. I was leaving work to go get him, and as my phone rang, I already knew who it was. I had a special ringtone for his teacher because she called me so much, just so I could prepare to hear what he did. She was crying when I answered, and I knew it was bad. I told her I was on the way, but instead of getting upset, she started to thank me. I was really confused, and she started to talk about what a sweet boy I raised. Literally nobody had ever told me that before, and I asked what happened. Apparently another kid who didn't have a lot of friends was in his class, and his mom had handed out birthday invitations to everyone the day before. Right before the bell went off, he stood up in front of everyone and asked who was coming to his party. The entire class was now silent, and he just stood there looking around for someone to tell him they were going. Nobody was saying anything, and she said she could see the kid's heart literally breaking in real time. Then, as a small village, there lived a young man who was hardworking and ambitious. However, no matter what he started, he seemed to fail. He tried business, it collapsed. He tried farming, the crops failed. He applied for jobs, he was rejected. Feeling completely broken and defeated, he walked deep into a forest one day to vent his frustration. He looked up at the sky and cried out, "God, give me one reason why I shouldn't give up. I have put in all my effort, but I have nothing to show for it. Why is my life so stagnant?" At that moment, an old wise monk appeared before him. After listening to the young man's story, the monk smiled gently and pointed toward the greenery. "Look over there, my son. Do you see the fern and the bamboo?" The monk began to explain. "When I first planted the seeds of the fern and the bamboo, I gave them both equal water and sunlight. Very quickly the fern sprang from the earth. Its brilliant green leaves covered the floor in a short time. But nothing happened with the bamboo seed. In the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th years, the fern grew even more lush and beautiful, but there was still no sign of the bamboo. I didn't give up though. I continued to water and care for it. Then, in the 5th year, a tiny sprout emerged from the ground. But do you know what happened next? Within 6 months, that tiny bamboo sprout shot up to over 100 feet tall. What was the bamboo doing for those 5 years? It was growing its roots. It was spreading its foundation deep into the earth. If its roots hadn't been that strong, it could never have supported the massive height it was destined to reach. The monk placed a hand on the young man's shoulder and said, "My son, this is your time of struggle. It may look like you aren't moving forward, but in reality, you are growing your roots. Like the bamboo, when your time comes, you will rise to heights you never imagined."